Right, ladies and gentlemen, I bring a warm greetings to you from the TNN TV media empire, where they broadcast live on Facebook and simultaneously so on YouTube as well. Today we get a very special guest, but before I bring that guest on, I just want for them to understand a few things about this particular guest who we get, who happens to be, in many respects, a decorated Sierra Leonean. Now, people then go on for ask who this guest is. So definitely I go like for make an introduction of we guest. We guest now person way has been in the annals of a political landscape now the country, and he don't serve in many positions them which are very envious, yeah, certainly for some people. In an active politician then and now, and he don't show leadership capability in governance when he did serve. Education wise, of course, he attended the creme de la creme of Sierra Leone, which is for Rabe College, and he also get a Bachelor of Arts in Public Administration from the African Graduate University. He get many, many other skills them, but what we want to focus on today now in public service. So what we do know about this particular guest is they don't serve now public institutions them for many, many years. Inside the African, Caribbean, Pacific, European Union joint parliamentary example, he is served in that capacity as president. Inside the APC, he was a flag bearer contender back in 2017-2018. In 2013 to 2017, he was also the majority leader and head of government business. In 2014-2015, they award him none other but an envious title of Commander of Order of the Republic of Sierra Leone. In 2012-2013, I must repeat again, he served as the Deputy Majority Leader. Remember, say he served as Majority Leader but of government business, but back in 2012, don't get confused, he also served as the Deputy Majority Leader. In 2008 to 2017, for the government of Sierra Leone, he had been the head of the delegation to the African, Caribbean, Pacific. We all know what that is. In 2007 to 2012, he was the chief whip in the Parliament of Sierra Leone. And then in 2002-2007, he also served as a chief whip in the Sierra Leonean Parliament, in the APC as minority whip. Between 2002 and 2017, he was a member of parliament for the All People's Congress, specifically in constituency 52. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Honorable Ibrahim R. Bundu. Mr. Bundu, welcome. Honorable Bundu, welcome to the program then and now, sir. Honorable Bundu, you hear me, sir? Okay, it seems like Honorable Bundu in video is frozen. And ladies and gentlemen, for create a quick background, we don't have this problem for about 2 hours before we come on show. 2 hours. And just in the last 20 minutes or 15 minutes, we managed to get them on and we decide for carry on with the program because the program will go and pull out of. But for 2 hours, the technical team done the work for make sure say we get this right. And within the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it seemed like it was going to be right, only for come on again. And it seems like there's a problem on the other end with the honorable. But notwithstanding, we have to go ahead with the program. Hopefully, at some point, he might try to join. If he not join again, we go have a monologue over this, introduce some programs that will come on, and then close the program early. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hub of the conversation, where we are elevating the conversation to the next level. One thing few things that we want to need for no fumble them. It's important that we keep this at the back of our mind, that there's an obligation on the part of people like us and many others who are doing their respective duties. Some are selfishly carrying out their duties, while others are carrying this out with the country in the back of their minds. Which I try for say is, waiting we do is supposed to be for country. It not mean say you not get affiliation. It not mean say you're not affiliated with something else, some other entity or whatever you want for call them. But foremost, now your country, now income force. The country trump over everything else. And on this particular hub, making provider guarantee, they say where we talk, this is what we talk about. We country and nothing else. but we country. So today, the 17th of February, me now una host, Prince Emil Koma. The conversation is heating up. Now make us say we dey elevate them to the next level. In fact, we don't already elevate them to the next level. We dey do with due diligence, holding government accountable, whichever shade or color of government, we will hold them accountable. We will expose what we think are things that are not being done correctly. And we will hold no fear, no favor for people them or against people them simply because they are very, very powerful. We not go let them for lead us in a way where they're not supposed for lead us. Today we supposed forget Honorable Ibrahim Bundu. Of course, he's having technical problems with connections. Hopefully he go join, but if he not join, which I want for let we know. On tomorrow, una all don't see Dr. Sylvia Blinden and the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Madam Fatima Bio, they've made peace for a long, long time, over 10 years. And this comes from Dr. Sylvia Blinden. So everything we say here, we don't make that up. They're not going to get along. They're not even been there on speaking terms. They were not. Okay. But then in recent times, just a few days ago, in fact, the ink on the agreement paper between Dr. Sylvia Blinden and First Lady Fatima Bio, it not even dry yet. Okay? It not even dry yet. And we bring on this story on Friday, which is tomorrow, 9 p.m. on this platform, which is a call-in program. Obviously, people can get different views. On this platform, we editorial and we view is for bringing truth, speaking truth to power. Okay, we believe say information and power, so make them a calling program. We believe say people can get thoughts about this. What do you think about this reunion? We call a reunion because prior to now, they were friends. And this not a strange phenomena. They were friends. It's clear to every one of us. And like friends, like any other friendship, they fell apart. And it became so toxic, the relationship, that them washed them dirty linen na public. And we hear some colorful languages on both sides. We hear that. And it's a good thing for make peace, but we go like for look deeper into why the peace is being made, and we look at the timeline at this particular time. What is in there? Why the peace was made at this time? Remember, we know say a good for make peace, extend an olive branch, and then move forward. Okay? Like I say again, we will ask why the peace at this time. And we say why? Because you need to look at your political climate and etc., and see or try for reason why. So the lines will be open and we go take calls from people then. Not more than 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, even 2.5 minutes is a long thing. Just opine quickly. What do you think about this newfound peace between Dr. Sylvia Blinden and the First Lady Fatima Bio? Okay? Today, family again, I want to remind you and say we supposed forget former Honorable Ibrahim Bundu, we supposed to be on the platform. Previously, I believe say una see him, but he was frozen, and we've been having this problem for the best part of 2 to 3 hours, which we've been trying to fix somehow. But for some reason, here we are. We don't have him after all the efforts being put into it. But we exercise patience. If it doesn't turn up today, we'll learn from the experience and trying to bring him on another day. Because why? He's a huge stakeholder. And there are many things we'll be supposed to talk about, and I want to let family know this. You see, the conversation, like we say, with the elevator to a different level is he's a former, I just read in profile just now, in resume, if you were like, a former MP, and happen for be on the other side of the argument, because there are two sides, if not three sides, to the argument inside the All People's Congress now. And as he said, don't begin to come back. I go wait for later adjust in video and see whether we're able for Brian come on. Like I say, this is the hassle I've been going through. But you get for expect this in electronics media. These things they happen. Now it make physical media, print media being good then, because wait till you print nine come electronic media. One moment you watch and straight, the next moment you flip upside down right before you face. So we for the experience, then kind of things there are. There are many programs coming up on the TNN Media Empire platform. Many important programs. On tomorrow, like I say, we will be having a program on Dr. Sylvia Blinding and First Lady Fatima Bio. Let me just ask Honorable whether I did. Honorable, you hear me, sir?
Yes, I hear you.
Thank you very much. If you can just keep your video right in that position there, and I want to let you know, so nothing doesn't take you by surprise, that the program is live and the numbers are building up and the whole world is watching us. So in as much as we cannot get a specific or extraordinary professional division between me and you, but at least people are seeing you and hearing you. So if you can keep them in that position there, then we can get this program going, sir. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So, Fambulan, like I've been saying, these things then they happen in the media, but the honorable obviously get a message and he want have the conversation. So he's been making every effort, just as we have done, they make every effort for make sure say we come to this point. So, honorable, there are many things that I want for let we talk about. I just want to get straight to the point. Many things then what I want for let we talk about. I hope time go permit we. If time doesn't, we go get for cut and short. But there will be many other days for let we have this conversation, God willing, sir. Today we want to talk about police brutality. We want to talk about with parliamentary democracy. We want to talk about corruption within the context of the COI, the ACC, parliamentary duties, and probably we go end and many more. But we go end on the All People's Congress, the position right now as you see them. So, honorable, and no one presume waiting you know, because looking at your resume, very colorful, well decorated, with an award, a national award. So I don't want presume, not assume what you think about the current state of affairs now with country. So I go give you the opportunity, sir, for let you say what you think about the current state of affairs now with country. A summation basically of police brutality, parliamentary democracy, the COI, the suspension of the AG, so many things. So if you can put them in a cocoon, and then after you've said it, then I go opine and we can take them from there if that's okay.
Thank you very much, and good evening to listeners. You want me to summarize a summation you need. Thank you very much. All the topics then where you highlight are topics then where Sierra Leoneans where they listen, especially they're very much away with. Some of them through social media, some of them through interaction with family, some of them through other medium where they can always try for source information as Sierra Leone. I hate for what you call an opinion. Oh my God. You see me? Hello? Hello?
Honorable, you hear me, sir?
Hello?
Honorable, you hear me, sir?
Hello?
Goodness me.
You don't go.
No, you not go off. You are on. Okay.
Hello?
Honorable, I hear you. When you prepare, let me know. So anyway, William, this is the difficulty that we've been having.
Hello?
Honorable, you hear me, sir?
Today.
Okay.
Hello?
You hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. I hear you now.
So, honorable, try for keep you gadget where you use in a fixed position so your hands are free, so you can gesticulate and what have you. I advise this before the beginning of the program, and this is on you, sir. The world is watching you. Just keep your camera where it is, and if you hear me now, just left from there and let's carry on with the conversation. So I'm bringing you back on screen. Okay, you're on, sir.
Yeah, so like I've been say, it's a mouthful. Police brutality and the other things that way you mentioned, they're all very very passionate to me as somebody where they're on the ground and somebody where also get an interest in the national activities and somebody where also don't participate. To me, no one forgive what you call a great naya, but I believe say the cry of the people don't already come out so loud that yes, there is police brutality. Otherwise, that noise did not for reach the level where it don't reach. Yes, other areas, corruption, areas of how do they fight corruption, areas of the where the public always they come out in various ways. The political on instability around the way parliament is run, and other areas where you highlight. I believe say bringing me for I even can begin talk about is something we very important to us.
Oh, that's honorable. Really appreciate that opening.
Hello.
And waiting I want for let we go to next or do next is basically the guiding principles of we republic, because we are a parliamentary democracy. So all the things the way they guide we, or you hear me, sir?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, brilliant. So all the things then where they guide we, they emanate from Parliament. In other words, Parliament supposed to be supreme, the law-making body, and etc. Even though in tandem with the co-equal branches of government. The reason why they bring this kind up again, because now the significance of Parliament, and we lucky for get person like you, we get vast experience in the parliamentary field. You serve as a parliamentary person, constituency, I believe 053, and you fast with
50
the
0
rules of
052.
052. Thank you for that correction, sir. 052. And you vast with the parliamentary procedures, whether not standing orders, whether not the procedures of parliament, whether not parliamentary committees, and etc. So we are very pleased for having you at the platform. So again, I want to let you provide an overview for we, the listeners or the listeners out there, on the functions of parliament in a parliamentary democracy. And I want to let you look at from a position of both in the then and the now. In other words, when you served then and when you, and what you they look at now outside of parliament, the difference, if there are.
Well, make us start by making this correction. We not to a parliamentary system of government to get now a presidential, and where you get the three branches of the three co-equal arms, where the executive, that is the reason why if they ask you about the composition of parliament, they begin for count from the president, the speaker, and the members of parliament. So it's really not a parliamentary, what is where ministers then they sit down within a parliament. But parliament from the 1991 constitution made up of elected members of parliament where they come from constituencies. And then constituencies, then when I started in we own time, it was 112. Then we grow to 124. Then today we talk about 132 parliamentarians. And now we, as representatives of the people, now we actually charged with the responsibility for make the laws, for oversee the executive branch of the government, where you have ministries, departments, and agencies. Then, of course, also now they represent the people. That is why we do we get what we call representation responsibility. They in between we people them, their wishes, their aspirations, and the government, because now that would they bring kind of parliament, interact with them, bring with it and give in a parliament, articulate them, and where it will eventually between us, the other two branches, the executive and the judiciary, will form into law. Now I make them call it the law making body. And Parliament, over the period where I've been there, of course, from 2002 to 2018, and I've been quite an interesting period where I believe, say, I learned quite a lot, both in the Parliament and outside of Parliament, because parliamentarians are people in way you get a responsibility both in and outside Parliament. That's why they call you the honorable person. Parliament, as representatives of the people, the role we are highlight. Let me come to the role first of all as representation. If things are coming from every constituency, most of the time now through the interface, through meetings, be it town hall or big halls meeting, where then they bring out their own wishes, aspirations, and what then they want for make we do. But that one, you talk about this in terms of representation, where there are the tools where somebody for use for make you do that kind of work. But that one we can come into them. But let's look at the area of oversight. The oversight for oversee all ministries, departments, and agency who have the full comfort of the law. We clearly spelled in the 1991 Constitution about how we go hold Parliament, how we go hold government and departments accountable. And of course, the executive branch, we're responsible for execute all the things then way with the assignment they give them, because mind you, we they approve the budget, and that budget now the amount, now the money we then they use for go carry out all the functions attached to. And when they do the responsibility of Parliament for come back, report to Parliament. But in the process of executing their duties, we get what we call oversight, or can do either by visitations or can do by summons, where then go come for explain for to we from time to time. So basically, those are some of the functions of parliamentarians. We responsible for make sure we scrutinize and pass the budget of the country. We make sure say we also
Yeah, would they you, sir? Okay, I think honorable try for adjusting in camera, and let's just get them off camera. So there's a lot being said there, and this is quite telling and important. And this is the exact position where I try for go into. For first of all, establish the credentials, the powers of Parliament, as opposed to yesterday and today. Has anything changed? Do they still have those same powers? And if they still get the same powers and probably even more, I don't know, then are they being utilized today as we see different scenarios they play out right in front of us? So this is what I'm trying to establish with a man who served as a parliamentarian in constituency 052 for many years, and not only there but also went on to ECOWAS. So we'll try for establish them facts there when he come back. Also, what you want for know is like we hear say parliaments don't grow in numbers over the period of time from when Ibn Dede, from 112 members of parliament to 124 members of parliament to 132 members of parliament now as we speak. And the question here that that beggars some sort of answer is whilst we understand in a sense why these numbers are increasing. In other words, like you talk about delimitation and boundary creations and new censors, and then you create all them parliamentary body there because people then get for definitely go represent the new creation there where they make. So obviously go up. But where does this end? I think the man is back. Honorable, you hear me, sir?
yes.
So you want to continue for Musa? You've been there. You've been just make a point, and then suddenly your phone, your gadgets begin for play up.
Right. I could be obliged if you, because you were listening, I was talking, maybe the point to say reach. So
Okay,
that
no
I don't
worries.
think.
Let's make some progress because of time. I think say the audience gets you right there, and I mean just to paraphrase you when we lost you. But the increment between 112 when you were there to 124, and they talk about members of parliament, and now as we speak, 132. And it seems like this number is going to increase. Do you get any fear, sir, as to, this number increasing? And why is this number increasing? Will there going to be like some, cap where it not go increase beyond this point, or every government will come for some reason, then go get for increase them through some exercise of theirs, where they give them undue advantage? Explain to Fambulemba what this process mean and how will they come to this?
Well, actually, the parliament we me left, where I see from the time where I entered there, where they talk about 112, certain space being there, we go accommodate an addition. Then, of course, now that space they may exploit, where we go to 124. And believe, I think now the last space that's where we don't exploit, we don't go to 132. But that is not to say because there is enough land, and I don't know, except if an expansion but the current well of Parliament where Misabi for now, I think will not go accommodate more than 132 or at most 135. So I know they anticipate any increase because their increase here, they may informed by the demand of the people, because there are very, very vast areas. You talk about 40,000 people, 50,000 people in some areas for a constituency. So even the demand from the MPs in terms of service delivery, in terms of contact for let you fulfill the role, they've been very, very challenging. So now all letting them, they've been informed, government been inform other bodies for bringing more people so that it will decrease the load and increase more outputs for the services of the people. Hello?
Honorable, you hear me? Hello? Okay. Honorable, you hear me? Goodness me. You hear me? You hear me, sir?
Yes, I hear you.
So honorable, you not necessarily get for the see me picture for you hear me. So let's just try something quickly. So I'm going to remove myself, and I want to let you tell me why they talk whether you hear me. It's important.
Hello? Hello?
Certainly, there is a problem there. So honorable, you hear me now, sir?
Yes, I hear you.
Good. So when I'm removed, the honorable not hear me, but once I'm back, he does hear me. So
Yes,
okay,
I
that's
do
understood,
hear.
sir. So
Mhm.
again, Fambule, what will they try for establish now? Now, even though the honorable don't make we for understand, not a parliamentary democracy is a presidential kind of democracy, and he explained to we why. But I believe say at some point we will get something what we call a kind of parliamentary democracy. But it don't break them down because sometimes these things can be technical, and in a man we don't serve in them position there, and he knows very well. Honorable, here is the point, sir. The parliament, as we speak now, so of today, are they up to the task where the Sierra Leonean people and they expect of them? The reason why they ask you this, and it's a direct question, because there's a growing argument in the public space where people will depend on parliament and parliamentarians for act in their behalf, constituency and constituents and the parliamentarian, but they feel they feel to say they've been let down, that the issues are not being advocated enough, that we not even see parliamentarians when issues then come up, then they go to their constituency, who side them for go derive them powers from, but there could be some technicality there as well, because after all, now party now they give symbol. So the allegiance seem to be to party first before the constituents. I wonder whether you can weigh in on this for let me try for understand this way forward, sir.
Yes, you asked the question whether Parliament is up to the task.
Correct.
So many factors then they will rarely come into play, and I'm glad you ask that question. You already also get the knowledge. Say you can have Parliament through political parties. It's a multi-party democracy here. Of course, you also have the option for make it come as an independent candidate. but mostly na people then they come through them political parties. If you look at the turnover, the every 5 years of members of parliament we don't serve, and the political parties mostly then get a lot and lot for do where they not been they do over the period, especially the old political parties here, meaning the SLPP and the APC. For let somebody just kind of parliament less than 5 years, it's difficult for let you begin to talk about output. You get two political parties currently where all of them, 100% of them, they're all the members of parliament from the leader to the other parliamentarians, they're all new. The only outside you go meet few a small percentage of old parliamentarians, old hands now in the SLPP and the APC. So you go look at them from that angle for let you give a judgment whether parliament is up to it. And here, a country, mostly countries in Africa, as far as they are concerned, when you are no longer serving, the chances for you to be a resource person, to be called upon, for avail you the opportunity for let you do that, it can be minimal. For so many reasons, some of it political, some of it, the human tendencies thinking that, okay, since I'm there, whatever, I go try, you know. So the question of parliament is up to it. Yes, I believe some of the old hands are doing well, but the new people are still in the learning stage, and unfortunately, not then they in the majority. So with that question, they can always. So if during the time where they talk about it, I also want for talk say we go for examine the role of the political parties when are from them, then they screen them, bring them come, nominate them, then encounter parliament. So really is a job starting from their political parties, coming right down. And the way we every year we get a turnover of parliamentarians, because when you are a parliamentarian in a challenging country like this, in a third world, believe me, the issues surrounding the work of a parliamentarian is very challenging, because
Okay.
some school of thought could talk say, oh, now that would have been promised, but I'm sure I don't visit a lot of campaigns through me political parties, and I don't witness a lot of campaigns. When people then they talk about which is a good one, parliament. You know, uh, the demands where they come mostly where then they think say this person na champion, na personal, and then personal demands then don't far outweigh the real issues where you for take go na parliament. You pass them through the rigors of the law, either through a private member's motion, or you influence a government motion, so that they go able for listen to the cry. So, but when you go to your constituency, mostly na personal demands in terms of helping people for schools, helping people for personal gifts, and so on and so forth. So it's a real tough job, but unless and until you are there, then you begin to realize what the whole thing is. Now I make I
Yeah.
bring in the political parties, I bring in even government policies, because that synergy, if you know they, now it can don't create a lot. And for political reason, now that one day you opponents they cash in, because when you go now parliament, must not say you they start forget opponents not from the other political party. The man will not to be in contest.
Yeah.
Now the constituency, you get symbol, now one opponent. Then the other political parties then back where you come, then after another opponent, So when you put all of that together, the job of an MP, the first 5 years is going to be very challenging. And when would they do that turnover every year? You don't actually challenge. So if you ask me the question of is Parliament up to it, it's a mixed bag. And the one who go there at the high side, na the one that we really not up to it. It's not because they no one for do am, but because the capacity, the meander on how you for actually weigh in between the official side and the social side between you people for make you appease them a very very minimal.
Many thanks for that. And in so doing, Honorable, because there was a lot said there. In the end, the constituents, you know, yeah, are kind of sideline. If I go understand what you say just now, because the allegiance then belongs somewhere else, in which selfish interest sort of prevail. It's about you and your parliament and the future, but the constituents become less, and less. And also, you know, go like for talk about that publicly because you've been there and you know that. But let me make some progress. Um, I want to talk specific them, honorable, if we can, in terms of the law, parliament, and other subsidiary body them that has been created, where sort of they in contention or in competition with something we're supposed for reign supreme. So educate we if you can, sir. Can you tell us about the supremacy of the Constitution of the Republic and vis-a-vis parliamentary authority? How do these two work in tandem? Because I don't want to bring the other two body them in. And there's a specific reason why I they ask you this, because we've seen a mismatch in many respects in recent times. So waiting at the supremacy of the Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone as opposed to other body them when they create and other law them and statutes respective of the Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone. The question is loaded, but I know say you're a very smart man, so you can pick in between and know exactly where I'm going, sir.
Thank you very much. Fortunately, 1991 Constitution is very, very clear. I think it starts from section 170 or 170 up to 171. We clearly established the supremacy of the Constitution over any other law. That where any other law, it conflicts or they in contrast or in conflict with the national constitution, of course, the national constitution takes primacy. So this brings me to the question of the subsidiary legislations. You know, I know we have institutions that we don't create. The constitution, that supremacy, what we make it a day because after you don't create what you call the broad rules and regulations of the constitution, the next step is how is it going to be implemented. So that is the area where you be bringing subsidiary legislations for create other bodies where parliament will make sure say the functions where then they allocate to them in no conflict with the constitution. So in that respect, except if some people sometimes they want to be very pretentious or they want to be very challenging, but the question is, which will they talk about supremacy a day in the law? And it's very, very clear. The instruction is very clear. The supremacy of the laws of Sierra Leone a day in the constitution. And any other law where they create or any other subsidiary law or a body where they create, as long as you know run counter the dictate of the constitution as spelled out in section 170 or 171, then you are okay. But you know it's very very political. Sometimes people fight to have their own, you know, to have their own way or their ego met. So in the process, then conflict, then they, you know, surprising because it's a political thing.
Okay, honorable. So, having said that, sir, the idea is egos, political connections, powers from above, if you like, should be laid aside when it comes, you know, to the constitution because the constitution should reign supreme. But I want to ask you again specifically because there's a reason why I ask you that. Specifically in this case, the Anti-Corruption Commission, as opposed to Parliament, in many cases that we've seen. Example, the Auditor General, the Office of the Auditor General, and the report, which is parliamentary responsibility in many respects, as I understand them, and many other people outside they understand them. But in recent times, we don't see something where some people call the usurping of parliamentary obligations and duties and responsibilities by a body where happen for be like a subsidiary to parliament. I don't know whether this is right, but as an experienced person and because you dey speak to the public, I wonder whether you can weigh in into this and try for educate you again on the parameters of the ACC and that of the parliament. Which one trump over all anything that we they talk about?
Thankfully, I dey deal with this issue again for the second time. The first time I've been confronted with this issue practically was in 2015, where there was an Ebola real-time audit as prescribed by the Audit Sierra Leone Act and also by the prescription of the Constitution over the powers and responsibilities of the Auditor General. So when that issue came in, I think we will get a very direct confrontation between the Auditor General's office, and the Parliament. And I've been taking my time because by then I was the majority leader and leader of government business. So I take full responsibility. It was very, very sensational because one, the one the way they hold culpable, where they presume culpable, they mean get their own fear where they get in terms of going to anti-corruption or coming to parliament. They not been get the clear understanding. Then of course also even the audit service 30 day, some of them they still they think say after they don't audit, then bring the audit the Auditor General report, then lay on a parliament, then think say, oh, it is now the property of the public, so the public can do anything with it. I say no. I said it yesterday and I'm going to say it today. And here are the reasons where they come out of me for saying I no want that for happen. The Constitution very, very clear. The Auditor General is by the dictate of the Constitution and how it is also being prescribed na the auditors Auditor General's Act. Now the servant of Parliament. The Auditor General is auditing the accounts of the Republic of Sierra Leone. That is why of all the committees, the committees will get na parliament. The other one then now they create them when the need arise. But the Public Account Committee is specifically there in the Constitution. It is not by the wish of Parliament when the need arise. It is there. You have to have a Public Account Committee. And that Public Account Committee now irresponsible for scrutinize the public account audit reports of the Republic of Sierra Leone. I make them not to allow, then they instruct through the Constitution for the Auditor General for lay a report. And in addition to that, people then can say, oh, this now public knowledge. I want to draw our attention to things the way then they put in a public way, but by the prescription of the Constitution, then they prohibit you from talking or saying anything about them. Let me bring you close to courts, when at the judiciary another arm. Courts then they hold them in public, a public hearing. When somebody is accused of anything, you go to court, the judge he read all your charges, he ask you guilty or you're not guilty. He do on a public, but it's still not a public property. The public can come and hear, just like in parliament. But una the area when they talk about sub judice, when a matter is before the judge, in a court, the members of the public are prohibited from saying A, B, and C because it is a matter before the court. So you cannot judge it just because they give you the privilege for let you in a court and listen where they read the case. So now the same thing at parliament. not because we allow people for day in the gallery, then they lay the accounts of Sierra Leone, then automatically every body can just come and take over. No, in fact, in our laws, especially the one who they deal with in Parliament, you get a standing order called SO 75, premature publication of parliamentary reports. We do invite members of the public for we committee hearing, but SO 75 is there to tell them, to guide them that yes, it's a privilege for you to be here, but the deliberations you can report what happen, but you don't get any judgment. So the judgment way the other subsidiary bodies, especially the ACCB, make, we get a very long argument on that. And waiting me they present, not to waiting me think, and waiting at the law. And the law is very, very clear. The accounts of Sierra Leone, when the Auditor General don't do his own work, they bring and come to the people of Sierra Leone through the representative, through the Public Accounts Committee. Because as far as we're concerned, the Auditor General is under instruction for let educate the people of this country where they audit them. For say,
yes, sir.
Is an opinion.
Okay.
It's an opinion about all the activities where he performed during the time of the auditing, and that opinion is subject to scrutiny by the parliamentarians who are the representative of the people through the Public Accounts Committee. So with that, we argue that, and the law being prevailed, then we continue with our work. But I see a reverse. I see something new coming again when this 2021 accounts and Liam, I see a lot of invitation to ACC, and of course the alarming thing was a former ACC boss. I think you interviewed the learned Ade Macaulay, and they still insist in support after the account of Sierra Leone is laid in Parliament. It's a public document, so anybody can weigh in. It's not even a question of arguments. I always entreat them people and they go back to the law so that let the people not get confused.
Okay.
Let the people not get confused because it's very, very, very sensitive. Me work for the government, then go audit, and probably the time where then go, I was somewhere or something happened. That opinion and need for can defend them before the representative of the people. And at that report day, now they will go make a recommendation inside the subsidiary bodies, the specialized bodies like the ACC and other bodies. That's so we know always they do.
Honorable, I want to come in quickly, sir, respectfully. Respectfully. And I thank you for what you just said because it's clear the Salon people, then they listen, and a good way people like Una they come for can educate we. You see the education part, when they talk about educatement, where people where they do them they una for can entertain. No, when they talk about education, which you are doing, and when they talk about the law reasonably. There are many things then where you cite, and I want to just pick on one or two quickly. Okay. That are the important body called the Public Account Committee, where you mentioned say not even need some parliamentary authority for let it take action or for Sidon, for talk about Salon people the money business, like the Auditor General in business. The point I'm trying to make, Honorable, are two or threefold. One, this Public Account Committee, as I understand them, and correct me if I'm wrong, the chair for this Public Account Committee is Stengerport Thomas. What happened for
the deputy speaker?
The deputy speaker, now the chair for this particular committee. What happened for belong to the ruling party and sit on a parliament, and they look at the issue of conflict of interest. And I'm not making this up like say they look on the crystal ball, but we've seen many a times. Like for example, 2018, 2019, 2020, all the reports there have not been deliberated in the House of the People, the well of Parliament. Yet, this is not the Public Account Committee in which the Deputy Speaker belonging to the ruling party, who happens to be at the center of the conflict, if you like, now in the chair of this committee, will the people of Sierra Leone get any respite, any justice from such, a committee in terms of the present configuration and waiting a go answer?
In a very ideal situation, the Public Account Committee will always be chaired by the opposition party.
Thank you very much.
That is what obtained in most of the other parliaments, both in Africa, West Africa, and the world over. And that had been a very thorny issue. You see, but government and democracy being what it is, as long as the law not stop the government party, expressly they're not buying into that expedience today. Politically, okay. If we want for copy good examples, we suppose always give two committee the Public Account Committee and the committees when Transparency and Accountability Committee. Now, like the equivalent of the ACC in Parliament. So ideally, Nyanda is supposed to be, but I was there. I came in 2002, and the Public Account Committee chair when we were in the opposition, and the government, Honorable Elizabeth Labali of blessed memory was the deputy speaker. So now in chair. So when we self come, we're not for copy bad example, but it happened that way. So when the SLPP back come, so you see, when that year they come out, even the members of the public, because we get what you call the Public Petition Committee, instead now one whole committee headed by the speaker, where some of them things here will not read them. Now the members of the public will also get they under obligation for rights to the Speaker of Parliament, and all the leaders of the political party will demand that kind explanation. They will bring can to the fold. Nothing that we don't talk about.
Honorable pause right there. Fambole where they listen. I want them to listen to this again, because you see, we get some rights we need to explore and we are not using them. And the essence of this platform, remember, we say that information is power. And waiting the ex-honorable just say just now. I mean, constituency 052 honorable just say just now. Now, something we're supposed for etch at the back of we mind about the powers where we the people. Because let's remember something. All of these powers that these people have, they derive it from we the people. And at that, as long as we understand that and how to utilize the things there, then that's the only way we can claw back, if not all of this power, but some of this power from these very people that we give the power to. In other words, there has to be some mutual respect, some give and take. Honorable, I want to let you repeat that point again, sir, because waiting on begin the economy mind is just because we get time constraints, we're not going able to forget this education we want to get. Because we need you for bring you on an entirely different segmented session for can educate we about this parliament and the rules and governance, good practices, and etc. etc. And we cannot accommodate this tonight because we get specific then we want to deal with. But what you been say just now in educating the public as to how they need to understand certain rules them where they can take advantage of. In other words, petition the speaker for let the speaker act in their behalf. Will you say that again, sir?
Oh, definitely. Naimik bring in a whole committee. The constitution. The standing order. Now the public petition committee. Where me say the public gets every right under that committee day for right to the speaker. And that committee day, it comprised of all the political leaders of the party and other eminent people, including the paramountship in that particular committee, for look into things then we generally they affect the members of the public. And let me entreat you with this. Well, quite recently, I also been weighing on the chieftaincy, where now one of we pillar, which you call na the foundation of good governance in this country. We start from the chiefdoms. If you look at I think section 20 or so in the local OTSF Act, the Chieftaincy Act of 2009, they say any side who say a paramount chief no day, whether by death or whatever, the person when a caretaker person enough for take more than 1 year. But today, both government year in, year out, where then give them that opportunity. They believe me, some caretaker we call the region chief, some don't they for 5 years, some don't they for 6 years. We don't distort the whole customs and traditions of paramount chieftaincy blatantly. But some of us will they talk, we can even say, because when they tell somebody, say, the information this so, who say, they go seek redress. Now, me could bring in that kind information, yeah. The public una self that docility for say, well, how for do now then they not go. No, you the member of
Well,
parliament,
honorable,
the
with
you
all
self you
due
have a
respect, with all
responsibility
due
for allowing
respect,
account together. So coming back to your, it is a fact. International best practice democratically. Every
well,
public
honorable,
they're supposed for
with all
use
due
that
respect, sir.
avenue they we call the public petition committee. Now I make them not get to nobody other than the head of the institution when are the speaker for make them did it for let the public go they bring through the members of parliament that particular using that particular lawful means they where the speaker get a responsibility for bring to the executive and for bring to the judiciary. Using that particular lawful means they where the speaker get a responsibility for bring to the executive and for bring to the judiciary.
Okay. Honorable, with all due respect, sir, you see, now I make it very essential that people like you continue to speak. Honorable, with all due respect, sir. Sorry, I dey get a back blast. Una bear with me 1 minute. Una bear with me 1 minute, please. So, honorable, like I've been they say, sir, now it make there's a necessity for let people like you they talk. Because we person like you talk, educate the masses. We waiting at the other side, the journalists, them, the social media pundits, them. We are able for put out this message so that we people and get the education we they need. Not all of them are cognizant or aware or they read the constitution. You will know this, honorable. But there has to be a concerted effort between the governed, yeah, and the governors for providing information there so people then become aware of the rights. So maybe we'll get for do this constantly going forward because this is not something we're interested in. Because once people then begin for understand their rights under a democracy, then we'll begin for take advantage of that. And then one day we want for rule them in a bad fashion, then go soon realize say, no, we are not having it because we know what the rules are. Even me when they talk to you tonight, there are a few things that I've learned from you where you don't expose where and not be know previously. Actions the way we can take for petition the speaker, for example, demand public accountability and the process that we have to go through. So we need more education on this. But again, because of time constraint, and I promise you that I'll bring you back, in which we will just talk about you educating the general public. I want to go to specifics. I've been said today we will talk about everything else within the context of parliamentary democracy, and the rule of law. With constitution, we're supposed for reign supreme. So, Lara Pierce Taylor, the suspended Auditor General, I know you weigh on your little bit because you can't talk about democracy, the rule of law, and with constitution without the egregious case that we happened in recent times not being mentioned. So I just want to ask you about your view about the suspension of the Auditor General then as to the position USA we did now. I want to let you take a look at the process or processes and procedures will take place. What's your opinion, sir?
Well, the better way you talk about process, because in the first place, let everybody know, say, we get a common phrase where they say, no one is above the law. It depend on the process and procedure where they take you through. Lara still appears under the rules of engagement, for let them process somebody like we get a very guaranteed tenor, we get a very protective clauses. I'm a bit taken aback by some of the hasty decisions, we break some process and procedure. And I believe, say, members of parliament and even members of the public, including me tonight, will always say it that in law, when somebody they accuse of anything, you are presumed innocent until you are proven in a competent court of law. So that tells you that you have to go through the process and procedures. So Lara, in your own issue about her being suspended, there are clear laid down rules and regulations both in the Constitution and in the Act where establish the Auditor General's office. So some of it, I believe the processes then get some lacuna, then get some problems with members of the public, and rightly so, because when you suspend an auditor general, that recommendation you get for come out first and foremost by setting up the tribunal, because now the tribunal actually not to they come out from the person where now the president and the other people we appoint and approve them. He starts from the setting up of a tribunal. We get use specific duties and they name people inside the Constitution way for day into that particular tribunal day. Now the official complaining body, and that official complaining body can give them timeline for make them first of all accept that yes, the complaint will come and meet the threshold for make we begin talk about taking the Auditor General through the process, and in the process suspension can come in so that the one the way they at the tribunal then can get what you call an unfettered access to document and other things. But I see something different coming up. I don't know, either out of political anxiety or what have you, but the process it need to be re-examined by the members of the public. And I would just entreat you to read these particular books when the Constitution and the Act will establish the office of the Auditor General and how he or she is removed and hired.
Do you see it as political, Honorable Bundu? Do you see the suspension in this specific question? Because again, they have been bordered around processes and procedures, and we know even we within at the outside understand now what should have happened, what kind of process and procedure will involve the suspension of the honorable lady. And I want to play one quick video on Honorable Bundu, so you go have a look so that we know, say, Fambule where they watch, they know exactly what you will talk about. And I don't know whether you go hear this video. I've been playing with me last person where I interview. Let's see whether you go hear
somebody
this.
does not mean the person should step aside. And certainly, there is no law in Sierra Leone which says that.
So I don't know whether you hear that, but now the ACC boss they talk at some point say for investigate somebody, you don't necessarily need, for suspend them off their job as at that same time. And there's no law. It be so emphatic. There's no law in the Republic of Sierra Leone we say that. But when it comes to Larapia still, the reason why I play all of that and they ask you this, whether it is been political, because the young man was interpreting the law then. There's no law in the Republic we say so. But then when it come to the other side, like the suspension of the woman, she was suspended on frivolous charges, as we understand, lack of professional thereof. And up till now, we see waiting they go on. not really match up, and 90 days don't expire. Again, you were in Parliament, you understand the rules, we guide all of these. What do you say, sir?
You see, sometimes certain actions, we can relegate them to what you call convention. Conventions are not laws, but they carry the force of law because that has been the practice over the period where it na the law. So yes, you see, the Constitution, they spell out everything. But during the course of executing or implementing what the Constitution say, now they would get then regulations, now they would get then rules, now they would get then conventions. You see, if we go
Okay.
strictly by the Constitution, it is the law not go tell you that, but that by implication and conventionally, when you dey investigate somebody and that person then also therefore give access to the books and so on and so forth. You can see when even the executive branch, when the police then they nab, they go take suspects, then they make sure say then take the laptop, then take if you go inside the Constitution, not the day, but conventionally for the purpose of fair play, it can step the
Okay.
person aside from a conventional point of view, but constitutionally. So the commissioner is not wrong, but conventionally, otherwise, also it himself gets you disadvantage.
Yeah, but we again we go ask that again. Where is Parliament and who takes precedence over them kind of things there? This is the question, you always see Leonians then they ask. It's not like the commissioner is wrong, but the commissioner exists in a space where Parliament has got this obligation, and it seems like the commissioner is taking the lead.
Well,
And parliamentary duties and obligations are being carted out, as you go put to a subsidiary body called the ACC. But let we left that out. We need for move on.
no,
But
but
within the same vein,
we need for clarify that you asked the question, where is Parliament? Parliament need to take in responsibility. I
yes,
did
sir.
it through the due process of the law and I succeeded. I did not look at the commissioner that he's a member of our government or he is appointed by His Excellency the
But you
President. I
kick
should not.
back against that during your days in Parliament because the same thing they try to apply, the same thing then under your government of the All People's Congress in Parliament, okay, with the same ACC. You kick against that. But we've seen a repeat of this after you've left. And this is why I'm asking you, sir,
No,
how
no,
do
no,
you see
no,
this?
no, 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 no. I did not kick against that. I fought
You fought.
yes, I fought relentlessly. There are records to prove. Me and the commissioner, we were on radio. The bar association, they come up with a statement. The no less a body than the SLBC. If you go back to 2015 archives and do your research, it did for say
Okay.
I tell them categorically clear that by the dictate of the Constitution and the provision of the subsidiary law we create the ACC, the Parliament take primacy, and we be succeed by getting that. Now
Okay.
we been do the Ebola, we do everything, we lay the reports, we debate them, we pass them into law, then with the attendant recommendations, they will send them before ACC take action. The records are
Okay.
there.
Honorable Bundu, we need to make progress, and I just want to ask you quick again on something on a related case. And in this case, now the mayor of Freetown. This is another huge issue on the table. Okay, we get Local Government Act. We get processes and procedures because processes and procedures now seem for they at the altar of sacrifice right now, in which people and they use interchangeably as it fit them. But somewhere in the middle, the righteousness, if you like, I don't mean in a spiritual way, but in a constitutional way, the right thing for do. The right now the middle. So the mayor is being accused of corruption, and we know the case we don't play out, and you don't the Yeri. You are an experienced parliamentarian. Waiting at your view again on this particular issue regarding the mayor. Contextually speaking, you get the Local Government Act. We also don't know how the mayor pass and waiting other public figure than they say. Waiting at your view, sir.
Well, I don't know the extent to which the mayor, the local government ministry through the Local Government Act, where they don't engage them, but I very much of a or don't hear a lot about the engagement with Parliament. Parliament gets a whole section where they talk. I think it's section 94, 95, something like that, where they talk about Parliament has the power to investigate anything that is of public interest. So, against that backdrop, calling the mayor to Parliament, enough of be a brouhaha from people. All the mayor need for do now for go answer to questions, go through the process and procedures. It's a multi-party parliament. Of course, members of her party we represent, we coincide as mayor, then they is supposed for be guided by them and even the political party. You see, now question of engagement. Now a question of engagement, wherein the parliamentarians them where they therefore be fair. But the question of her being invited to parliament, get any, not for be anything of concern because it did it under the law.
Okay. Just another quick one again, Honorable Bundu. You were in Parliament when Anders Koroma carried out in midterm, in census. Correct, sir?
Yes.
And you understand parliamentary duties and the law and the constitution when it comes to census. But under the current government of His Excellency retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, we see the call for a midterm census. First of all, will you please establish, the right of the president for call for a midterm census and waiting really constitute that, and waiting play out in front of our very eyes, and as we speak now, where we are in terms of midterm census.
I can entertain the public when they pay craft attention. Now one of the things in that way I be listening to the professionals where they execute the census when them in the kind of radio. They know they can speak vacuously. Then they bring the constitution and all the attendant rules and regulations under the constitution and the act where establish them. Then quote them, and rightly so, correctly so. You see, now a question of compliance from the other people who are critical of the activity or who are suspicious of what is going to happen.
Yeah,
Now,
Honorable, you're not
have
implying
been
in
the
any
bone of
shape, sense,
contention.
or form that those who
But
are coming out now and
as
speaking
far
are doing so vacuously. Is that what you're
eh?
implying? Because prior to now, those who were
No, I
coming
said
out
they did not do, no, they did not do so vacuum. Then go with the act and listen
okay,
to the argument. Then quote the relevant act, including the constitution, correctly of the powers of the president for called census at any time. It is there. You cannot take it away from him. But those who have suspicions of, now then they come up with other things like maybe it is for this, maybe, but until it is proven, me, I always they watch what the law say.
do you have
Because what the
suspicions, sir? Do you have suspicions about this current? Because largely speaking, when government call for delimitations, for boundary counting and midterm census, there is always going to be some degree of suspicion. Your government did it. This government is trying to do it. And when you tried it, people said the same thing. Just at this time, it just seemed worse because it's midterm.
well, it's very interesting because we did it and we call it the name we wanted to call it then, and the SLPP came. As long as we know they broke the law, we carry on. So you will never stop the opposition from coming up with their own insinuations and so on and so forth, as long as it is not obstructive.
Okay.
You are being paid to oppose, but enough for obstruct. As long as it not constitute obstruction, the opposition is free for oppose. Like how them in the oppose because and then get things when they refer to the international community, even get their own reservations. But all of those within the ambit of the law, get the threshold where you go say, well, no, una boycott or una do this, but you go air out. They always say, let the opposition, leave them to have their say. You, the government, do not always have una way within the remit or the ambit of the law.
Okay, many thanks for that, sir. Fambulem, I want to take a quick commercial break. We'll only get one commercial break, and then we will come back again to this evening's program, and we will speak to none other but the former Honorable of Constituency 052, Ibrahim R. Bundu. Let's take with first and only commercial break.
Shock you.
Wow, I like the setup and decor. Quite impressive.
You've not seen anything yet. Wait until you taste the food.
I can't wait.
In a sense, money making. Look at that. I am sharper than knife, I am sharper than nail. Them are small like ant, I am bigger than whale. If Baba gonna lift you up, nobody will make you drop. Nobody will.
In Brixton, we do more of African food and seafood as well. In Peckham, we do more of African food.
A reception or function of any type, this is the place to do. Just do your booking on time and we can do catering for you.
I love that.
Okay, Fambulem, welcome to another edition of the TNN TV Media Empire platform. Today we will talk to the Honorable Ibrahim R. Bundu, formerly of Constituency 5052. And we will talk about national issues then. And to know say this is not the hub of the conversation. Yeah, so we don't elevate the conversation to another level. And we believe, say, information is power. And the information we derive from this conversation today is heavy, is powerful, and we hope it will change mindset. Back again, we get Honorable Bundu on the program here tonight. Honorable, I want to go to you, party, sir. I want to go to the All People's Congress now, because we've gone deep into the time, and hopefully all the things that we want to talk, we're not going to talk because of time constraints, but we go get for bring you back like I promise. I want to begin with the defection of Alpha Khan, a man who I believe say you sabi very, very well. What did this exactly mean for the party? Because this is a high-powered defection of a high-power person within your party to the ruling SLPP party. This is huge. What's your take, sir?
Defection. Defection in between them two political parties. It's like it's like a daily routine. It's routinal. Depend on the situation we find yourself. There will always and there can always be defections, even in modern democracy. But for we, now the management of the defection by the political party, Naimi always say, the management of the if you run your political party, when somebody decide for defect, you una way they left na the main party, una manage somebody in defection very well, because Alpha Khan is a very prominent figure. He don't represent the APC party in a parliament, and he had always been APC. This is not the first time we me say Alpha Khan go into another political party, because even when he was a businessman full time, he had always sided with APC. So defections to me, not to the kind thing that they politically where I can raise alarm about. People are not defect from APC, then go SLPP. People are not defect from SLPP, then come APC, and even political parties. Most of them, when they form their new political parties here, then defect.
Yes, Honorable Bundu, just a quick one, sir. No one will be labor on this. I just want to make some quick points and then we move on, because there is so much more I want to cover under this APC talk with the campaign, including the constitution, the new constitution, and your position. You seem for the play down the defection, and of course, it's a cultural thing. It's not really strange, and you make them for appear like say even yourself don't make you plan, you don't lay your suits down just in case the call come in, yeah, and for let you make a transfer over to the SLPP because it's
That's
a
not correct.
common play in the way how you put them. But when they talk about the timing of it. And at this critical juncture, now that I've been try for us, waiting it mean because if Alpha Khan is that powerful and able for drag and make division within the demography where it belong to, then that's going to cost APC a heavy political capital, sir. Will you agree with that?
Alpha Khan officially defected because Alpha Khan in closeness and involvement with the SLPP government, it starts around the time we get the COVID. And not to Iwan Green, they make overtures to. They made overture to Paulo Conte, Alfred Paulo Conte, and rightly so, he accepted. He said, in the interest of the nation, I am going to serve.
Yeah, but that's a different thing, sir. That's completely different.
No, wait,
okay,
sir.
ahead, sir.
Around the same time, they also get this man, Gauja, yes, where himself now be member of the party, a registered member of the party, himself for his expertise, himself them invite him. Around that same time also, Nai Alpha self they invite him for go take a position. So you can get three people. The two then still did it. That means Alpha and Gauja, So until Alpha declares, say, from today I am not APC. As far as me concerned, he's serving his conscience. He's serving his nation.
Okay, Honorable Bundu, I like that very much. And the three people that we talk about, two are still there, and one is no longer there. And if we deduce and adduce from what you say, we can say, but maybe Paulo later get for understand who side them the drag and go, because the difference here is Paulo in experience, that's what we were made publicly and then call or type or tap into because he been had something similar during the Ebola crisis. So
and
it was
Gauja
about
too.
activating that during a public emergency in terms of the COVID pandemic. So they try for use them in that effect day, and they say, okay, well, that's good. This is in service to nation, as opposed to Honorable Alpha Khan.
Alpha Khan also served in the Ebola effectively. He played a very effective role.
Yeah, but that's where it started from, sir. Until now, he's now the minister of something in the government.
Okay. He graduate small.
Exactly.
But until he declare, because I still know say in membership he active, and until that is dealt with otherwise.
Yeah, in membership active because he not renounce in membership, but in this case, the options are open. Either na inge for renouncing or the party go get for take action for renouncing because I sure say the party not appreciate in position that he has taken. But you know that more than I do, but we need for make progress.
Well, the party not also come out with any official statement denouncing or apprehending Alpha Khan. So
because
I don't know.
Equally say that the party get many struggles that they are facing now, and then they try for alienate others. If they were in a stronger position, it make absolute sense that they will have denounced him a long time ago. But they will try to make overtures
at any point in politics.
People like you.
In politics, I always go encourage anybody at any point in politics, learn for engage. Don't dismiss. Don't speculate.
Well, that's a different thing, Honorable Bundu. And then we will say, because I absolutely agree with you, sir, but it depends on the circumstances at the time. Your party is under pressure, it's on the back pedal, and you've got dissenting views within. Fair enough. But then you've got others who have joined other people who are trying to desecrate, to get rid of the party and make them lose whatever structure that they have so that they can prevail. And then you have gone to join them. Obviously, you will be an enemy. You will be looked at as such. So if the party have not made a decision yet, it's because they're not strongly in that position to do that because they've got priorities, other things than that they are focusing on. So they don't want that kind of a distraction.
If the Musa Tarawalis the JB Dowdas and the rest of the others were not looked upon by their people as enemies. Some of them, like JB Dowda, I remember when he left to go back after he attained the position of up to vice president, when he left to go back to SLPP, he not only go quietly, he even make statements. He say, I am back to my natural habitat.
Okay.
So with those precedents, me believe say where they say leadership and management of relationship. When quite recently Musa Tarawali don't get what he gets, he's back to his natural habitat. He
said it. He said it, and that's clear. Back to my natural habitat. The other side harbored him. It wasn't his natural habitat. It was just politics. So they harbored him. They used him at the time, political capital. And then when it was convenient for him to revert, he did that. And he made it clear that I've gone back to my natural habitat. In this case, with the Alpha Khan, I'm not sure whether he's reverted back to his natural habitat. Has he?
No. Alpha Khan, who they talk, we all don't agree, say he defects. So me, the Alpha Khan way me know in natural habitat na APC. And up to today, even when they work for the government of the SLPP, he has not denounced that.
Okay, let's make progress, Honorable, and thank you so much. And Honorable, definitely you are coming back, and there's going to be many segments of this because we need to engage the public together. We need public education, civic education, and you've got a lot of it in you, sir. The PPRC recently ruled on the national youth. I'm gradually, if you see what I'm building up, I'm gradually going into your party and then eventually the Constitution. So they recently ruled on the youth issue, where now the issue of age. Again, now another issue where if the party potentially not been in the position where they're in, they probably would have put up a fight. But in this case, the NAC decided, they say, well, we're not going to fight this. Let's just agree. So they agree on them. I just wonder, waiting at your view, because previously this wasn't the case, and this was also tabled by a prominent member of the party who is now sort of alienating themselves, from the party. Of course, they're entitled to their views and etc. But now then table this motion and the PPRC agree. Waiting at your position on this particular youth business.
Well, the ruling, they not just rule say, you right, you wrong. Then give reasons. And say when they read them in tandem, when they look at it in tandem with international best practice and constitutional provision, the conventions where the country signed to, then believe say they agreed the age for youth now between 18 and 35. So I mean, that notwithstanding, if the APC party will be feel so strong that yes, we disagree, the PPRC not there above the law. There is Supreme Court for you to go for interpretation. But I think we don't look at all the attendant things we go come, because when you are into politics, now two courts they attend: the court of public opinion and the judicial court. So I'm sure some of these decisions, for that we left, they can say, let bygones be bygones. Now, as a result of having test the water or weigh in on because after us, we have people who are very competent between the ages of 18 and 35. So why for begin the bit around it? Those who were hoping that even at 40 they are youth, or at 40 something they are youth, just graduate to another level. I mean, there are so many other areas.
Honorable, sir. When it comes to the dispensation of law, you mentioned, you have two things just now in terms of judgment being made in the court of public opinion and the real courts. But in the real courts, we've seen so many travesty of justice. People have not really received justice. Some cases are still pending. And cases that have been looked at and verdicts handed out.
As I sit here, I have matters in court, but those ones are private.
Yeah, exactly. This is the
so
point.
we all know the difficulties of justice in this country, and not to today starts.
Okay, let's move on, sir. Many thanks for that. Let we move on. So I want to let you weigh in. Quite recently, the spokesperson for the All People's Congress, CDI at Tunis, was picked up and invited to the CID for explanation. Now, I don't think personally that inviting people for explanation as to comments that they make publicly to go and explain what are these comments or what were these comments made for. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, the security people can ask people to come and provide explanation. But there seems to be a case of double standards here, and I will pose this to you because there have been cases in which positions taken by others were so extreme, sir, but nothing was done or actions taken. And we know who these people are, can play you tapes to that effect. But then, in terms of this particular individual belonging to a particular institution, he was picked up even though his statement wasn't as toxic as the other.
You know, I can always say the position we hold, a political, and the action is always going to be met with some political bias. I can tell you, now make me, I get a philosophy in me politics. Yes, we all know the principle of obey and comply or complain. But go and compete. Competition within the ambit of the law, because the world is not fair. It is not level. You know, those are things where when you go, you have so many examples of that. You know, I like to be fair to everybody. I listened to CD. I was so impressed. I can tell people in Nahato today, if I not be the first person to tell me that the second person we call and congratulate them, I can confirm that. But that is what you expect under the political dispensation where we don't grow so to self in this country. Even
Okay.
you not even get guarantee that you own political party, then they go treat you fairly. It depends on the side of the political spectrum where they even inside your own party. So you get intra unfairness and inter unfairness. So I can just say
Well,
this one as far as
we lose your face, sir. You need for bring your face come back up. Yeah, good.
okay.
No. Okay.
Yes. You okay now?
Yeah, that's okay, sir. Just leave it right there. So anyway, thanks for that point the way you make. I want to go straight, here to the All People's Congress and the yet to be adopted constitution, where they create reverberations and concerns among the membership, including yourself, and I'm sure you've got reservations. So again, just like I opened this program, towards the end of this program, I want to ask you again because you know exactly, sir. Waiting now you view because you will have read it, you will have looked at it inside out, and the parts that you agree with and what you don't agree with, but you don't look at inside out. So let ask you, sir, before I offer my own opinion and begin to ask questions further. Waiting are your perspective or sentiment about this new APC Constitution, sir?
Well, at the end of the day, I don't care what we do. There is never going to be a perfect constitution. I make not the right constitutions on stones. Will they pass on tomorrow? The next hour we can call for amendment. It is our property. It's our property. You see, the constitution it go through phases. When they draft this constitution, when they don't draft them, when the judge give me order for let we go adopt them, and the constitution was made available, and I read them in out and so on and so forth. And as far as it is not a question of satisfaction, it is what we get at the moment. So for the sake of expediency, we can make progress. So I was one of the 21-man member. We all go participate fully and get the position to Usaide. Today, as I speak now, it is no longer the sole property of the APC. It is today a national property where we don't go deposit to the PPRC. So PPRC is now scrutinizing procedurally under the powers where they give them Section 24 of the Act for make them process the Constitution. So for me, if you ask me, you make the best out of a bad situation. Then things the way they see people and they come up with suspicion. Well, that is if you see don't take the one the way they lead, then begin suspect you. This is what you get. So really, we're not supposed to make a lot of, because procedurally, if you know they under for a certain number of days, 30 days or so, where you want any objection, you don't raise it, and then give you a fair hearing, and then give a verdict. So we, for the sake of progress, if you ask me, whatever is contained in that document, I want an out now, make we move on. Because
so let me ask this, Honorable,
in terms
and again,
of progress
because of time,
than waiting left. So as a constitution, I can say, until they not write them on stones, as soon as we pass on this now, then we can always come. In fact, constitution, you also get what you call rules and regulations. Some things and they were very, very cumbersome. But the provision we did it in terms of rules and regulations, we can use them for adjust quickly some of them things and then provision and so for me, it is a starting point and it's a good start. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step.
Absolutely, sir. And let me make this point quickly, Honorable. So you were a member of that constitutional committee, and you are not in tandem with the so-called establishment, but you were invited, you participated, and you handworked inside this particular constitution. Is that correct, sir?
Well, on a technical note, I don't proffer any technical objection or raise any technical,
No, I'm not talking about you raising technical objection and technical note. I'm asking, when they assemble this constitutional committee for can rewrite or make amendments to what be exist, this one we will not profile forward, the solutions they will not profile forward. You handwork day inside, sir? Because I've spoken to Lawyer Kaloko in handwork day inside down there. You handwork not day inside at all?
No.
Okay.
Yes, me handwork not there at all. But procedurally, we are ordered by a court for there we go make sure the process of passing it into law through the delegate conference and they participate. So we really will not get any. We not for go present them to the delegates for saying that the document this. We get the lawyers them. We do the presentation. We do the notation. We do the scribing and what have you. But we were there partly to monitor and supervise the process.
Okay, many thanks for that, sir. But that presentation has been done and was basically accepted. But just that in this case, now the Justice Adrian Fisher, now you need for satisfy, and then the PPRC, nobody not contest after 30 days, and it seemed like somebody don't say, I not agree with this. Is it Mr. Alfred P. Conte?
You say no agree?
Yeah, we're not, because they don't send the constitution back to UNA for let UNA amend certain things then. Is that correct? I hope so I know they get this twisted.
No. From the bits and pieces we they picked up about what happened at PPRC, because as the PPRC procedurally is now in charge of editing and between them and the public, waiting for the inside the constitution. Alfred Peter Conte or myself, or I don't think say we get it is now between the Secretariat and the PPRC, because definitely
Bundu, the point I was trying to make, sir, thank you for that, but the point we have been trying to make is yes, now the PPRC, but it based on Una winner the complainant. It has to be something about una winner the complainant, waiting una forward to these people them. So it go to the people them and somebody raise a contention inside the constitution, say it's not correct. And this now the political party representation when a PPRC, it says something wrong. So here una take them back, una try for amend this. So it's not been approved. It was sent to the PPRC. We're supposed for approval, but it's not been approved.
And that's what they say. A day between the secretariat of the PPRC and the secretariat of the APC. We, at this point, will not get anything for do time again. Because the time for objections, for put objections, you don't done. The hearing, then don't do them. So now which them you agree upon, the dots here and there. So it just day between the two secretariats, the commission, the EU secretariat, and the APC secretariat.
So you may have known, or it will be interesting for let you know, say the ambassador Fode Ansane, the Secretary General for the party, is being accused of some kind of foul play, as if he do some Orwellian thing, like animal farm on the Constitution. That's the public accusation on this man as at this time. But let's go to specifics quickly on this particular Constitution. Something will be of interest to you in the general public because it's a huge document, but I just speak through it, and because of time again, I just want to run through a few things. So I want to go straight to chapter 2, the issue of membership, where I believe say now also of some concern to you. So, and that therefore do with Article 9. Who qualifies for membership? And this is a constitution, as you've said publicly here, you don't read them inside out. Do you have a bone of contention with who that they qualify for public membership? I want that you keep Sam Sumana in mind, by the way. Let me just introduce his name for the first time in this segment. Who that they qualify for membership and how you they qualify for membership? Do you have some disagreement with that process there as stipulated by your new constitution?
Every political party gets two types of membership: general membership and registered membership. The general membership is provided for in the Constitution under the rubric your right to association. Everybody gets a right for associate with any political party or whatever association of his choice. The registered membership na the constitution of a political party na in the process not to in the guarantee and na in the process under the rules and the regulations where any political party gets na in constitution. A lot of people then they were members of the APC, but for some obvious reasons they cannot take membership, registered membership. We all know what that means in terms of the politics today. If you're a businessman, you must be constrained by that document being kept in the hands of somebody who will go prosecute you tomorrow. Say this. A civil servant, it is in the law that of the civil service code that for publicly align yourself. The registered membership, I know at least way people then they make a fuss out of them. It clearly they the constitution of the APC party, both the 1995 and the current one.
Honorable Bundu,
yes.
Henceforth going forward, because we really don't run out of time. You get for come back shortly for that we can talk specifically about the constitution and nothing else. So I just want to run through this. So while she they talk, if I badge in, you get for please forgive me, sir, because we run out of time.
Okay.
And I just want to touch your issue. Are you in agreement? So my question to you on the issue of the qualification for membership as per the new constitution, which is yet to be adopted, and you've read it. Are you in agreement with it?
Well, it is not for my agreement because it is the property of the APC party.
No, I'm talking about your personal opinion, sir. I know it's not your property. It's not. It's about the members, of the All People's Congress. It's a public thing, the membership. But I'm asking you as a member on your personal note, and you are a critical factor in this entire equation. Do you agree, sir, with this? Because there are many agreements and disagreements I'm going to ask you within the next 5 minutes and 10 minutes before we close the show. One of them is the issue of membership. Do you agree with this new constitution, the way it outlined membership? Do you agree or don't?
I agree. That is what the delegate said. So I agree.
Thank you. So in terms of enrollment and the registration of members, also in the Constitution, which is Article 10, and you read it, and if you have, sir, which I'm sure you've done, do you also agree with that part of the Constitution?
That specific article, they do read them for me a bit, okay,
it talks about the enrollment and register of members. Let's see if I can find them for you very quickly and read and so bear with me. Audience, bear with me, and that will be Article 13, I believe. Let me see if I will find Article 13. I came to the studios prepared exactly for this, and I think I found it. So, okay, sir, Article 13, resignation, suspension, expulsion, forfeiture, and reapplication for membership. This is quite critical in terms of what we talk about. And members I mentioned Sam Sumana in them, sir.
Right.
A member may resign from the party upon delivering a letter addressed to the district chairman of the National Secretary General of the party. Just spare me 1 minute. I'm going to read you this entire text. Sir. So, of the party declaring its decision to cease to be a member and forthwith surrender his membership card. A member may be suspended from the party or from holding any office in the party pending an inquiry into his conduct by the disciplinary committee. A decision to suspend a member shall not be taken unless the nature of the complaint has been communicated to the member in writing and disciplinary proceedings have been initiated against such a member. The recommendation to suspend a member shall come from the disciplinary committee to the appropriate executive committee. Finally, no member shall be expelled from the party unless such expulsion is effected in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 6 of this Constitution. Now, the thing about Constitution is so sort of complicated because it always defines you to X, Y, Z, and you therefore need patience. Go to this section, that. But you know this, you've been there. So what do you say, sir?
Really, I don't see complexity. They just tell you about how a member they lost in membership through resignation, through temporary suspension, and or expulsion. Now that section they don't talk about. So the area where you want to weigh in terms of where you bring in some Sumana, you know, really bring and come it so that you just give me the qualification how somebody they lost in membership through resignation, through either suspension, and the process attached here to.
Okay. Thank you for that. But what I've been trying for say, sir, is at some point during this conversation between me and you and the general public, you intimated that you've read inside out this new constitution of the All People's Congress.
Right.
Honorable Dr. Samuel Sam Sumana has been the center of this discussion once it comes to membership and expulsion and readmittance into the party. And I believe, say, in case na be a basket case, na be a precedence inside case law, if you go agree with me. So I ain't no lawyer, but that's what it seems like. So therefore, any attempt going forward in formulating a new sort of rules-based system, go consider the case of Samuel Sam Sumana. So in that regard, the membership of people who were either expelled, the process how they were expelled, and readmittance into the party or who that constitute membership, go they right on top of your head, I believe. So this is what I was asking, and hence you've read the Constitution in terms of membership. What do you think?
Well, one area one area where I go weigh in terms of reference to Chief Sam Sumana or any other person we want for be a flag bearer, we want for be a member of the national executive, or we want for be a regional executive. Now the area we talk about the time we for day as a member continuously leading to the time we want them position the day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My
The qualification of membership.
the qualification of membership. Now,
Yeah.
because you can be a member, but when you're a registered member, you are open to positions from a member of the executive, a member of parliament, a councillor, and a presidential candidate. So now then qualification then they now in the party don't carefully put as follow that when we say somebody we want them position here, if for don't they as a registered member fully paid up for a continuous period of 5 years leading to the time we, so in other words, if you had been in the party and you were expelled or so the time where they reinstate you or what have you, the period leading to your readmission, if for be 5 years for let you go and ask for them position then they now that kind new thing they I see. You hear me, sir? Hello?
Again, I just want to repeat, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the TNN Media Empire. USA, we don't elevate the conversation. And we talk today to Honorable Ibrahim Bundu, a former member of Parliament for Constituency 052, a man with on top of the rules and is well decorated in many respects, has served both in the domestic parliament and in ECOWAS parliament, and he sabi the rules around parliament.
ACP Parliament,
The
African
ACP.
Caribbean Pacific, yes.
Okay, that even sounds bigger. I see the smile on your face, and I apologize. That I get I get them wrong, sir. Yeah, thank you very much for that correction. The ACP Parliament, that's the Afro Caribbean, Parliament ACP. Thank you so much. So we go forget them again on another day for be specific, because waiting we they do now at the then and now is like providing information so that we people then become conscious as to the decision that they will have to make and make subsequently. So we are talking to none other but Honorable Ibrahim R. Bundu. Before we come back again to Ibrahim Bundu, I mean just want to say a few things. One, talk about program then where they come, and two, acknowledge people and we don't they, have a back and forth na the platform. So on tomorrow, we get Dr. Sylvia Blinden, where they come on a program. No, not they come on a program. No, we don't have Dr. Sylvia Blinden live. No. In other words, we'll be having a monologue, but it's a call-in program on this recent overture between the two ladies, them, First Lady Fatima Bio and Dr. Sylvia Blinden. Then just make peace. When did they make the peace? How did they make the peace? Why did they make the peace? We are of the opinion that it's good for make peace, but we also, as a critical mind, they look at the timeline as to when they made the peace. So when we deduce and adduce, maybe we'll conclusion go point to something, but we make the case and we'll point out to Una the public for make the decision. On Sunday, we're going to be unpacking the SLPP manifesto. We're going to be doing that right here on this platform. And what you want put to rest finally is this rubbish that has been ongoing in social media, in which a certain sector continue to promote wrongful saying, factually incorrect statements as opposed to national development. Would I do this when and do that? Even sometimes it can look petty, but it's serious enough. And why? Because there is a timeline. The case worker for day in point now the Mabere Bridge and the Mabang Bridge. It's clear. And we go provide evidence as to the timeline who have been responsible under whose government that was done. There's a reason why we're doing this, because some have taken it as a national treasure for begin for perpetuate lies in social media. Development is not an event, it is a process. But during the process, at the time that it occurs, you have to give due to who due belongs. It's as simple as that. Don't try making it up for mislead with people. We're not going to tolerate that on this platform. So tune in on Sunday when we shall explain under whose leadership, under whose tenure this entire program begin. And we go supply evidence as we normally do. Superman is going to be coming on Saturday with a heavy program. He's going to be having Minkailu. He's going to be having what's his name, Imran Toure from the Strategic Communication Unit. And we expect more and more people and from the government side to take this opportunity to speak to the then and now, because we've got a broad-based platform and a widely watched platform, both at home and abroad, especially abroad, because people are not getting the wherewithal economically for download, upload, we video them what we do. But we do cut them down, we do convert them into MP3 and send them so it can be affordable for we people. And we go continue for do this because we've got people asking, can you do this for us, please? And we're going to respect the views of the Sierra Leonean people. And we believe say this now a civic constitutional duty. When the government do something correct, we won't hesitate to praise them. But when they do it wrong, and mostly what we put our attention to is how to criticize government, how to hold government to account so that they will do better. There's no malice. There's no aforethought mention, like prejudice. No, nothing of the kind. I hope you get it. If you don't get it, I'm sure somebody else get it. But today, we will talk to Honorable Ibrahim R. Bundu, and we'll come towards the end of the program. So Ibrahim Bundu, if you can run quickly through the Apc Constitution, even though I've been get questions because I can't prepare, sir. I get the whole body of text here, but time will not permit we. But what we go do, normally we can give the summation as we do from the beginning at the end to we guessed. So because time constraints, I yield back this thing to you for do the summation on what you think about the Constitution, and I go take note because when you come the next time, what you've said here tonight will be taken into account, and it's these questions that I'm going to pose to you regarding this sacred document of yours. So the floor is all yours, sir, in terms of the Apc Constitution and how you see them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. The Constitution will get with for political expediency. We are going to make do with what we get, on the firm belief that constitutions are not written on stones, so they're always amendable, either immediately or you can adjust them through rules and regulations agreed to by the members then where the laws they affect. The Apc Constitution, better that we go with her now. So because they get the side way very, very workable and we very, very productive. For instance, we all know say rightly so that nobody not they go again for let them go select them. That they go now and for let it go for election. So my people be prepared for election. And the good thing we don't happen also, this constitution, it don't go through a lot of scrutiny. You don't go through a lot of scrutiny because, mind you, they've been published them to the public before it came to the first convention at McKinney. After the convention again at McKinney, and publish them back. When we carry the final draft to PPRC publish them back. So it is for the members of the public at this point in time, the one they will get reservation. In we own case, about 11 Sierra Leoneans, most of them from the APC party, then raised objections, and those objections were addressed through an engagement between them and the PPRC. So we don't exhaust a lot of things. So I believe we all get an interest for bringing no war, no day where forget an end, because it's going to continue in bad faith. And the constitution of the APC we come out today, all the one that we play role. You know, it feel like what you call an all-out relay after the 2018 election. A lot of things been bothered around the 1995 constitution. So we junior brother them been take that baton they for say no, not agree. So they are the junior. They fed after some time. We almost don't subside. You get the other group where now like a boom in an intermediate. I can class them as an intermediate. Instead of take from there, you run till they pass on to a senior. But sometimes if we all don't pass the constitution, this not the next people they wouldn't go hand over to it go be the elders or the other members of the party. So it's a good thing for us. Politics is continuous, and whatever una they see they happen at the APC party, not to political palaver per se. Na what you call na political struggle for power and positioning. And rightly so, because the party get political capital. Example, Prince, if we announce it today, say the new leader and chairman of the APC party, na Prince, their producer. Believe me, so many people go begin to look for your number, including the current sitting president and very prominent members of the SLPP and the other political parties. So it has a strong political capital. So any struggle we see there, because mind you, we have 17 political parties in this country. So some political party and then do not open daily, but nobody know they go there. The other they do not open for membership. Look who they fetch now. The place is tight, so it this that, but people because of the political capital. Now then two political parties and are the only side where today where you did you get hope for become president, vice president, minister, head of parastatal, and so on and so forth. You know they get that opportunity today. You know they get that opportunity today easily to to the other political party they move. So it is not unprecedented. It is not a surprising thing. SLPP will continue to fight, and they will fight even when they are, because even when they all they get government, the share no do. Yeah. Tomorrow, who says we get government ready? Not all man get to. So some man now, he still want continue. They say, but party boy, you don't say it, but let other people themselves come. So now they can't struggle, and they will call a political struggle, not to any political plabber. Now politics they see, for let somebody just say, myself I want, it become plabber. You know, not a physical flower, but a political flower, because of the political capital we all they go for. So that position, we are in the opposition, but a very strong opposition, a very strong party. Today, SLPP blunder, to God, APC they from government. We see even other political parties and they rush for camp. So anybody who thinks, oh, plaba then APC, tell us in a lie. As SLPP they forget, let them just remember 2007. We get plaba up to the end of 2005. Even when we go into the convention, we can appeal them in day, but we put them in. So therefore, the constitution, it will guide we a very long way for let we win this election. And we are going to win it. Only that, you know, we get for sure understanding amongst ourselves. We are fighting, we are struggling amongst ourselves. And in the struggles of the APC, there is always victory.
That would have been an end to a high note, and nothing for go beyond that again. But I'm so tempted for ask you one final question, Honorable Bundu, which is this. I know say you not agree when I use the word defection and use the name Alpha Khan, and you try for sanitize them, and I wonder why. But we go left the wonder why for another day. But do you think there's going to be such defections, or maybe we need for a euphemism? Now, euphemism, then call them in English, a different language, not defection, because you don't agree with it. Do you see further transfers like other people and from your side moving to the ruling party side? Do you envisage anything of such?
If we not manage the party well, Now, management of the relationship among the members of the party. Now, I don't begin bring them in a day. Alpha Car no go look APC because they're not in a power today. He decide for go. But the management of the relationship between us.
The point where I
Not
continue to disagree with you, Honorable Bundu, with the Alpha Khan scenario, because you may know this in private because you probably have the contact number of Honorable Alpha Khan. You've spoken to him, you continue to speak to him. But what you're saying is public material. Alpha Khan feels spiteful because of what happened. He wasn't given what he wanted. And the opinion here on this platform is there were 28 of you, including yourself, sir, but you haven't left. You're still there, with the party where you belong. He is left. How come you continue for the make the case for him, like say, he get a right for leave where 28, 27 others, at least they're still there. We make I ask you the question, are there other people, where don't line up where for go, including you?
You see, we all get very different way for respond to situations. I mean, our human makeup and so on and so forth. You see, if you ask me, me on politics, anything we get some amount of controversy, where I get for can explain why this, why that, I don't go for those things. Alpha get in own different way we go react. And for let me sit down, I will not condemn somebody's action until he says something where I go ask questions. Alpha went quietly. He was questioned by members of parliament belonging to our party, and he answered the questions. That's one side. Believe me, the fact of the matter is Alpha is an adult, a political matured man. Let him carry his load. To tell me the defection of Alpha, as far as me concerned, the history of defection has not affected the APC. Most of the people who defected, look at in 2007, who are the people they will contend with? You get Habas Bundu, former member of the APC. You get Mola Sidon. You get late Justin Bangura. You get the late YD Kamara. You get a host of them. They defected. But has that defection impacted positively for reward the SLPP? No.
That's another question.
Most of them, Bob, since he say, then Kadisi say, then defect.
That's another question for another day, Honorable, and this is what I was trying to say. And I think you got it spot on at the very end of this program, because that's what I was trying to derive from my question posed to you, that there is a defection, and you have agreed, tacitly, implicitly, you have agreed, that's a defection. But will the defection pay off? That's another question for another day. Honorable Ibrahim R. Bundu, I want to say thank you so much, sir, for having made all this effort for attend this program here this evening. Despite all the technical issues that we've been getting, the delay, we finally managed to pull them off. And I know say, this not the first time, but this not to the last time. And you're going to come back soon for do your due diligence and duties to the Sierra Leonean people by providing them with information so that when they make a choice, it's based on information which is on top of their knowledge. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege.
It will always be a pleasure, Honorable. And thank you so much. And Fambulem, we don't come to the end of the program. Una actually forgive me because I'll not be able to go back to the chat room for read the comments the way we can normally do and acknowledge people in the comment box. But we appreciate constructive criticism. What are we not doing right? Don't forget to make it clear. Visit we YouTube channel in which this page is being broadcasted live now as we speak. Not forget for subscribe. Don't be selfish. In behalf of the TNN Media Empire, me and the host this evening, Prince Emil Kromawe host, Honorable Ibrahim R. Bundu, they say good night to una all. Thank you and bye-bye.